Hello?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, Travis. Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good so far. Hey, man.
Nice.
Alright, give me just a second. I need to screen region this properly.
Cool, no worries.
Yeah. Alright, man. So, I want to ask you, first of all, how was your day? Before, as I set this up.
No worries. My day was pretty good so far. I mean, I've been, got up at like 9 o'clock. Been kind of working on a myriad of projects right now. So that was good. I think one of these days I have to get outside because that's what ends up happening. You end up staying inside, and the weather is actually, turning okay in the Northeast right now. So, except for that anomalous snow we got the other day, which was kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I had a very nice day inside so far. What about you? How was your day?
It was pretty funny because I was supposed to wake up like an hour and 30 minutes before a marathon to set everything in time. I ended up waking up at like 8. So I was like, all right, man, I'm just gonna go back to bed.
Nice.
Nah, it just didn't happen. So I was like, oh, all right.
You're gonna be like awake for a long time, I guess.
Yeah.
This whole thing, which is very impressive, I must say, that you're doing all this.
Yeah, I really want this to happen. I've been talking to a lot of people about this project. I recently interviewed Dr. PP and Mango as well. I've been talking to Mewtwokin about it. I might call him over the phone later on and stream the phone call. Stream the phone call because he's traveling to a tournament, right? And make sure to get that.
He is perpetually traveling to a tournament. That seems to be his life.
Yeah. And I'm also getting Mofed, a very popular Zelda speedrunner and great commentator in the Smash community, over.
Nice.
I'm trying to get D1 in some way over the stream. I know Prog is very busy. I've been talking to Leffen about this as well.
Nice.
Leffen said he will get back to me if he gets the time frame to be on the stream.
Nice.
People have been tweeting at Cosmo and Siglemi to hop on. I have the chance to meet them both and play Melee with both. So maybe that's a big long shot. But why not, right? Maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
No, I mean, I've seen the effect so far of having this go on. I mean, what is it? What is the count up to now since you started the stream?
For donations, we are close to $650.
That's amazing. That's like in a short amount of time.
Yeah. So that means we're having like $100 every hour, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It means that if we do 24 hours, we'll be around 2,400 or so. That's pretty good. That's a big help.
That would be impressive.
Have
you thought about donation rewards for this tiny little this fundraiser thing? So maybe like you reach a certain amount, you remove an article of clothing, or you drink a shot or something.
I was thinking about that, but the thing is that the moment I say that, I'm gonna get abused. No, because last time that's the issue drive I did. I had to do a lot of really stupid things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you made the donations, right? I mean, that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
You gotta suffer. You gotta suffer for your viewers. we did shots of Sriracha. I guess there was actually no fundraising or anything going on for that stream, but it was when Katie Jay and I were streaming, doing a Q&A. We ended up doing shots of Sriracha sauce. So maybe you could do that. Maybe shots of Sriracha.
Alright, man. So I just got word from Shroom that he would like to hop on as well. Awesome.
Cool.
I mean, I'm also getting chewed at as well later on as well. So yeah.
Great. She's a great guy.
Yeah, Chew's a great guy. So yeah, so I believe we're everything ready. The stream layout is ready to go. Now, Travis, we're ready for the interview. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Alright, man. So my first question comes down to why you do all of this.
The Smash Brothers originally, and this as well.
Yes.
It's funny, the idea or the beauty of something like a episodic thing had been something that I wanted to try out. I've been doing film and video stuff since I was like 8 years old. So it was always been my blood. I went to UC Santa Cruz for it, for film and digital media. And while I was at Santa Cruz, of course, we played a lot of Smash. It was 64 that we played. And at the time, like, Melee was like this other thing for me. It was this, like, really fast version of 64 that, I couldn't wrap my head around. And we were just playing, in the house and stuff for fun. But from there, I kind of had those two elements in my mind, like, this fascination with kind of the medium of episodic things. Like, I was big on DBZ when I was in high school, and the way that the style kind of progressed. And I was interested in kind of these two separate subjects. So when I finally ended up living with my brother in Boston, when he introduced me to Melee and introduced me to how terrible I was at the game, then I kind of wanted to get better. And I saw these, when he showed me like Mango and Isaiah and all these other guys like doing incredible stuff, it really made me want to delve into these guys and find out more about them and their history. So that was kind of the genesis of it all, and I got lucky, I think, in a lot of different ways that the product ended up, looking the way it did. There are many different points where if someone said they didn't want to do an interview, or if like if I had been successfully mugged in Boston for my camera, like that would have set back the whole production and never would have happened, I think. So I got lucky in a lot of respects that everything ended up being okay.
Will you say that, because the thing is that there's so much more to the players than just their actions on the screen. There's a lot more to them as persons. And when I was talking to Dr. PP, he has so much to say about the game and everything that was going on that it brought me to actually save this. Like, a lot of people come to us and they basically look at us and they're like, "Do you guys play video games for a living?" And I can't believe it. I'm not used to this. Like, he was mentioning how League of Legends is trying to get on the Olympics now.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can see that happening. And I'm just as surprised as other people that are not even involved in esports are. But the thing is that there's so many people that when they think of video games being played professionally, they just can't believe it. And I think that the closer we're getting with everything we're doing in this movement we call esports, that's being led by League of Legends and Dota, and Smash is also getting in there as well with your excellent documentary that gave us a huge boost, because you're a big part of this big movement. You're a big part of it.
Well, I mean, the little bit I could help, I feel like was serendipitous. It came at the right time. So I'm just happy people liked and enjoyed it and got into Smash because of it. So, but it's amazing that this, there are these all things, like there was also the Free to Play was another documentary about Dota. I feel like there's there is a sort of a groundswell to get more esports recognition. I'm actually working on another project that'll be out this summer about StarCraft, Dota, League, these other things. So besides this other the Smash project that I'm doing, so it's awesome. I'm super excited that I think a lot of people have realized that there is this future in it. So it only happens if we all agree to make it happen. So.
Did you ever think the documentary was gonna get this big? Did you ever think that it was gonna be this big success that we're seeing right now? Did you expect it? Did you want it to be that, or are you surprised about everything?
I thought that it was gonna end up at like 100,000 views, and I could it would be something I'd be able to show people and be like, look what I did. I made this 9-part documentary series. The level that it's reached, I had hoped. I had hoped that it would, in my wildest dreams, I never thought they would get back to MLG, that Melee would. But it's. I'm very surprised that it did do as well as it did, and happily surprised. So could not have seen that coming.
I see, and now that everything, you mentioned how you wanted to know the players in a different way, not just about the game. Like, who was like the most interesting person you met? Not interesting, in a way that they were more important than the others, but in a way that for you were like, wow, this guy had a lot to say. I didn't know. I didn't expect it.
Well, I didn't expect. I mean, every one of them had like something interesting to say, obviously, and something that I learned about them. I think I was surprised at how much and how engaged and interesting PC was to talk to. He had so much of the history at the tip of his tongue, and was able to talk about it really knowledgeably. So that it was awesome. We sat for like hours just talking about various points in his history and the history of Smash as a whole. So that was really awesome to get to see. Obviously, Isaiah, as a interviewee, was able to kind of open up a little bit in ways that I didn't imagine, and kind of share a little bit about himself and his motivations and stuff. So that I think that his was probably one of the most surprising and revelatory. I wanted to respect that as much as I could in creating his episode and kind of showing people in their best lights. So.
Yeah, the Isaiah episode was pretty crazy, especially because it's the only episode where he doesn't, appear in camera. But at the same time, it's the most impactful one. It feels like Isaiah's like literally right next to you, talking, and he's like giving you the details on his life. And a lot of the things that he said, I was like, whoa, I didn't expect all of this. Not because I think of him being such an interesting being or person, but the fact that it was like, I don't know, it just felt so deep. It felt like he was like drinking coffee in the morning and just like, sit down, Zero, I'm gonna give you the talk real quick. And I don't know, it just kind of got me in a lot of aspects, because I can see someone like PC Chris or Ken being like opening camera, because they've been used to it, and they showed it in their episode. But Isaiah has always been like in the shadows, like it's always been that person that not that he never had anything to say, but he always opted to not say much.
Right.
So giving him the spotlight to go on about himself, I was like, I'm not used to this, because you can tell that he doesn't like to promote himself in many ways. He likes to stay.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. And I think that is so him. I mean, he's we got down to it, and he's a really very hilarious guy. But you're right. He just doesn't care about the promotion or any of that. He just wants to play this game that he really enjoys, and have fun with it. So that was always kind of the draw I think I got from it. Yeah.
Now, with the thing about the documentary, how many plane tickets do you? Now, not how many plane tickets? How many places did you visit with this?
I was got sick of flying after a while. So I didn't think that could happen. I mean, I haven't really flown a lot in my life, I guess, for some people, but I did. I wasn't actually even flying a lot. It was bus rides and stuff. I took a mega bus twice to New York City to do Milk Tea, Wes, and PC interviews. And then I took another bus all the way down to DC to do the Chillin' Dude and Chudat and Wife interviews, among others. And go to like Civil War 4, I believe, is where we went to as well. That was a 10-hour bus ride one way, all the way down to DC from Boston. There's just, like the little things, like having to drive all the way, another 10-hour drive, I think, to go talk to M2K in New Jersey. That was just one day, just like drive there, drive back, do the interview and go back. So I did get tired after a while. I think shout outs to Crimson Blur for driving me when I went out to talk with Mango and Ken in LA. That was very helpful of him to kind of drive me around, and that's kind of like I feel like the whole thrust of this is that Smashers kind of help each other get things done, and I definitely got some help with that.
Definitely. Now, after all that traveling, like, who had the most interesting house?
I love PC's basement. PC's basement is like the best. I just totally kick it there. I remember actually, not to like put the spotlight on the sanitary conditions of his basement at the time, because this is like everybody's basement. Like, let's be honest. There's basements are basements, but it was really funny. In the middle of the night, I heard we went out for Mexican food, and had like we went out somewhere to a party and then came back. and then we had left the empty tins out, and there were these two mice running around in it when we got back. That's where I ended up sleeping downstairs. So it was like the perfect kind of like chill pad that you would immediately associate with PC. So really, really cool. M2K has a pool, which I thought was really awesome. And oh yeah, Ken's house was great too. He had him and his brother and his family are very, really hospitable. And we ended up chilling together after the interviews and stuff and playing Mugen, which was awesome. I guess, you know, their house, their father, I believe, had built like from the ground up, and it showed like they had this really cool like fountain area in the back. So that was pretty awesome.
Sounds like you had a lot of fun too, of course, right?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, that was part of the thing is you meet with people and you kind of bond for the brief period of time you're there, and then you know, get going. So yeah, I wanted to make a point to, you know, spend time with people and be friendly. So.
How will you go about contacting someone to do this project with them? Like, for example, how do you approach Isaiah or Jason, you know, Mewtwokin or Ken? Like, how did you do this part of like approaching them with this?
Well, I had a pilot episode that I had produced in the summer of 2011, and I used that to raise money on the Kickstarter. I've taken it down right now because it's just so embarrassingly bad. I might release it later. But
I honestly enjoyed that episode. It really brought me. I was thinking to myself back in chill. I was like, if this became a reality, the Smash Him will be like next level. Fast forward 2 years, man, it definitely did that.
You saw the pilot episode?
Yes, I saw, and I actually tweeted at you. I was like, yo, this is fucking hype.
Dude, I mean I will eventually bring it back just for old time's sake. I think maybe that's what I'll do after this project gets done and released, the new one. I'll release the old pilot episode just to show where it started, and then they get to the final like feature film thing. You know, the differences between them. Yeah, what was your original question? I'm sorry.
No, it was basically the question, like, the original question. It will be, how do you go about contacting people for documentary?
Right. So, you know, having this pilot episode, I was able to kind of show people, like, oh, like, check this out. I sent it, you know, on, I tried to find people on Facebook and, you know, MySpace even, when I couldn't find people, and would just message them. And I wasn't, you know, annoyingly messaging people like again and again if they didn't immediately get back to me, but persistent. Like, Mango was a tough guy to kind of get to pay attention to me, and obviously Asin just never ended up biting it and didn't want to go for the interview. So, but having something to show people like that you're serious about the project definitely helps. So, and now that people know about this, I think that's going to make, you know, people are coming to me and saying like, hey, I want to be interviewed for this. So that's a nice turnaround. It's going to make organizing this and getting things together a lot easier, I think.
Will you say that people were reluctant at first to work with you because they didn't know the level of professionalism that you were going to put into it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there were already a few other like attempts at documentaries that had come out, and I knew that, you know, I needed to show and differentiate myself from some people. So, you know, being willing to put yourself out there in time and stuff like that. Like when I showed the pilot to Chillin' Dude, he was like, "Oh my God, this brought back so many memories. Yeah, I'm gonna totally be part of this." So he was like, immediately saw the kind of quality I wanted to do and what I wanted to go, you know, do with it. So he was on board immediately. So yeah. I
see. And so you say that I will ask you about Asin because honestly, when you made the episode about Asin, I was actually very curious on him because there's so many people that have so much to say about Asin, but Asin is never saying anything about himself. Like I remember I was talking to Mewtwokin one day at one of the many carpools we participated into. Like one week we did a challenge of 7 tournaments in 9 days. Yes.
Whoa!
And we accomplished it.
I'm impressed.
Yes, and we accomplished it. And so in one of these car rides, I'm like, he's like talking about Aston. He's like, Aston is a master at everything. He used to have the world record in Tetris. He used to beat me up in Mario Party. He will take games off of people with almost every character in Melee. He was good at Brawl too. He was good at 64. He's do you know he's challenger in League of Legends? Challenger is like top 50 in the country.
Wow.
Like, how did that happen? I don't understand. Like, for example, one day I was randomly playing League of Legends because I also play the game quite a bit sometimes, and they have this feature matches thing that features the matches with the highest level ranked players. So I see the names, right? I'm like, all the sponsored players, you know, Team Solo Made people, CLG, and then I see Asen. I'm like, wait, is this Asen? He's playing Kennen. Then I go on Asen's Facebook, right? It's the same Kennen. Yeah, that's Asen. What is he doing in there? That was so random. That was so random.
Well, go ahead.
So I was really looking forward to hear about Asen. You know, I really wanted for him to speak on about, you know, his thoughts and everything pretty much. I just wanted to know about the dude. You know, I'm curious. Yeah. And it was a little bit disappointing to me, the fact that he didn't really wanted to participate that much. But I'm very impressed by you that you managed to talk so much about him while not even having him. I don't know how you managed that. Pretty sure you probably struggle with that one, but
yeah. It was a difficult kind of thing to do because, well, not at a certain point I was like, okay, I can do this. It's just gonna feel like Asen's, and I think I've heard this comment a few times that when you watch the episode, it kind of feels like it's a memorial to him because he doesn't talk in it, and it's unfortunate, and it's a side effect of the fact that he doesn't talk in it. But as much as I could, I tried to keep, like, you know, Chillin essentially was his mouthpiece, and in a way that's almost perfect because that's the way it was, you know, back then. Like, you know, with a lot of these tournaments when Az would go to them, you know, Az is a very cordial, modest dude. Chillin dude's a more boisterous guy, willing to talk shit and get in people's faces. So he kind of repped Az for him, and in that it was kind of perfect that way. It is unfortunate, I think, that we don't have his voice representing himself, but you know, I've said it before. It's not an easy thing to get in front of the camera sometimes. It's you know, you're really put on the spot, and I totally understand why people wouldn't want to do it. So
it's understandable. What was his actual reason for not participating? Just because he was I know I got told he's a shy person. Yeah,
I mean, you know, it wasn't in a good place to do it at that point, for one reason or another. You know, he never gave me a reason, but you know, that's like I said, it's something that depends on the person. Like, you know, people watching this might not be keen on doing something like this, like putting on a stream and being able to talk and stuff like this. But you know, other people won't be chomping at the bit, and they'll be like, you know, wanting to do stuff like this. So I think you end up in places, you know, where your personality kind of takes you. So
it's understandable. All right, so my next question is about the people you selected for the original documentary. You know, when the first 8 episodes. Why did you choose them over other people? Like, did you think that? No, actually, I'm not gonna try to speak for you, but just ask you. In what kind of direction you wanted to begin the story with? Did you make the story in a way that you will have to pick it up at a later point? For example, what you're doing right now, to actually continue and complete the story. Is that the way how you're doing it, or what?
As far as like having more episodes after this?
Yeah, kind of like, you know, you narrated the story from one point through the MLG days, through after MLG with Brawl release, and then after the Brawl release we're having this section, you know, with Armada and Dr. PP, and then you know what's gonna happen afterwards, you know.
Yeah, I mean the way I originally conceived of it was these 7 guys, and I kind of saw it as like, you know, 7. First of all, I love that number. It's a great kind of narrative number. I don't know why, but I enjoy that number. So that was kind of an elegant amount to choose. And then you have this kind of delineation that, you know, is there. That's part of the history of it. You have Asen, Ken, and Isaiah, where it's kind of like the 3 stalwart beginning things. And then, you know, PC kind of came in, and KDJ, Mewtwo King, and they were kind of battling it out. And then you have Armada, or Mango coming in and kind of blowing the scene up. And there are other people in there that I could have gone with. I wanted to do some more with Sean B. forward, just because his like lifestyle of traveling around from tournament to tournament. Like he did I think 5.5 months. I read something on his blog where he was like trying to do the Ryu thing, like being a journeyman smasher, and it was very interesting to me. I just never had the amount of money to, go and talk to him. That's the tough part. You don't have the money to do it, and you can't really. It's also the reason I wasn't able to go and find and talk to the original John. We found him in, I think you can. There's a thread on Smashboards that's called Finding John, and we did. We found him. He's in the in the thread. He ended up coming and saying hi, and it would have been great to go and talk to him, but it was just no money. So that's why you do these things, Kickstarter, to make sure that you can get all this awesome content. As far as the storytelling goes, I had only imagined it up to that point. There was something I wanted to do. And it's actually mentioned in the original pilot episode, which has this little kind of fundraiser at the end of it, like explaining what I wanted the money to go towards in the original Kickstarter. And I wasn't able to raise nearly enough money to do what I wanted to do. It's something that I'm actually going to apply to this project, and it's a secret right now. I'm going to reveal it later. I'll get on in the fundraising process to get people hype. And I think that's going to kind of, really help raise people's expectations and stuff. And that's what I'm doing right now with this project. There's a certain kind of narrative structure I want to have with it that really would work well, I think, with these guys, especially because they're still like really incredible players. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. I don't see this project as like a single episode or something like that. It is like a full film that's in and of itself, so that you can come along and watch it without having any knowledge of the scene previous. That does mean you have to put in a little time, like in the beginning, so it's not like a continuous thing. So I'll have to be like kind of like explain the community and stuff beforehand, a little bit of time to do that. But there's creative ways to kind of build it in, I think, to the structure to make it interesting to people that do know stuff.
Are you building this as like a series where you kind of have like a couple episodes and whatnot, or are you thinking about this as an actual long time single, production?
Absolutely, yeah. Like it's definitely going to be a single project, something that would be not episodic.
Okay.
Something that's a single like film, like 90, 120 minutes. So that's the goal. That's the real goal.
That's awesome. I'm just hearing that. I just want to see the product finish already. I just want to see. I just want to see what's on your mind that you have it finished. Like just watch it right here with all the streams, all the stream viewers right here, right now.
The only reason I want to make anything, the only reason I'm interested to produce anything creative is if it's not been seen before, or if it's not exactly been seen before. That's where my passion lies. So, yeah.
So do you hope to get out there the personality from these players and the people around them, because not only the players have a lot to say, but also everyone that's around the scene, Perhaps like maybe this is my personal recommendation, maybe I don't know if it works with what you have in mind or not. Maybe try to interview the people that are really close to these players, maybe their parents. That would be cool. Imagine if you interview like, I don't know, maybe Armada's like mom. And just be like, in some way or the other, I don't know how that will be even possible, but just imagine getting the thoughts of someone who's like really close to these people in a different way, because there's so many things going on in the background behind what the players do, there's the fans, they have a lot to say, there's people that, because they've been following a player, their lives have changed in several different ways, they've gotten inspired in different ways, and it's not like people, for example, that compete with them, they get impressed and then they get a revelation out of playing them. I don't know. There's so many things that can happen.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe...
Yeah.
No, you can go.
Well, it's funny you mentioned interviewing parents. I did interview Mewtwo King's mom.
Oh my God. Yo, where's that? Where's that?
I didn't release it because I felt like having parents would kind of change something about it. There's just like having this world separate from parents as a whole was a conscious choice. I can't put it into words really well, but maybe it's just that it would have changed the dynamic from these guys who are living in this world of gaming and stuff, suddenly it pulls them out into the real world a little bit, and I didn't want to do that as much. I might change that up a little bit. I might actually do some more and interviews with the parents and stuff. So
or friends related to them are not into gaming.
Yeah, absolutely, that too. The part of the necessity with the Smash Brothers was interviewing people that were like in the community to kind of get a real sense for it and stuff. But yeah, having friends of these people that aren't gamers is definitely a good strategy, especially to kind of create them as a whole person on screen.
Yeah. By any means, I don't want to tell you how to do your job. More than anything, it's just like I was just curious to know what kind of ideas you were having, because you obviously have a lot more ideas than what I can offer, and you can do your job a lot better. But, but I was just curious, because I don't know, maybe it really is like a big maybe with a lot of things. It's like maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm just a dude. I have ideas, but I'm not, under any illusions that I know everything. So, hearing ideas from other people is always good. So thank you.
All right, cool. I'm actually wondering one thing. Have you ever thought of like doing anything related to Project M, perhaps?
Yeah, I've thought about it. It's a game that I've played a little bit. My friends of mine play it, and I have a lot of fun with it. I'd have to find the right angle on it. I think, it obviously doesn't have a long history. The creation of it, I think, actually would be one of the most interesting things about it. And I have talked to guys like Yurok and I can't remember his name, another dude that were big in the ground floor of it and creating it. I have a lot of footage talking about it. The creation of it, at least. So there is a possibility I can do maybe some smaller videos about it in the future. No plans to do anything quite yet. I would need to kind of figure something out with that, how to tell that story. But
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I have another question. What do you hope that comes out from all these projects that you are doing with the Smash Bros. Community? What do you hope to accomplish, perhaps, or get to?
Well, with this film, I want it to be, universally accessible. I really loved, I said before, the King of Kong is one of my inspirations for making a good gaming movie or any kind of engaging project, because it's about these people that, of the community. And there are elements in there where they explain, like the jumping and stuff, and there's certain things about the game that are really, really complex. But the interesting part, and the part that grabs you emotionally, is not that. It's the struggles of these people. It's how they relate to each other. And so that, my end goal for this project would be to reach an even bigger audience that knows nothing about Smash. I almost feel like it's crazy that people don't know about all these esport things yet, or that I'll still get weird looks. When I went to a party recently, and I was shocked at that I created this thing, and that there were these people that played. I was like, how do you not know that? It's prevalent these days. It's huge. Gaming is ginormous. So, but there are a lot of people out there just don't know about a lot of this stuff. So that would be the big thing, is introducing that cadre of people, as well as people that are part of the other elements of gaming that don't know a lot about it necessarily. Something that illuminates these people, is emotionally engaging, and cool. Those are the some major goals that I have. As far as anything beyond that, beyond creating something really awesome that would be enjoyable to watch, I don't really have any major goals.
Overall, that's a very big topic to me, the acceptance of what we do. I was talking to Dr. PP about that earlier on today. I made him a very big question that led to a very detailed answer about have you ever talked to someone about what you do and have them, someone who you don't really have them know you in that way, someone who doesn't know gaming, someone who's not part of the Smash community, someone who doesn't play video games, in their free time, someone who's completely out of the loop in what we do, and have them be I don't personally think you you're doing the right decision. You know, have someone who will definitely disagree with this movement. You know.
Yeah.
And he gave me this answer. He said that it depends on how much you know the person, the way of the level of the discussion you're gonna have with them, because you're not gonna go in a 30-minute discussion with someone who you just met, about like philosophical things about this. But if it's someone who you know, for example, from school, you know them a little bit, but they don't play games, and he said that depending on that, he will first introduce the topic by saying the things you can do, like, hey, I went to this very big tournament, this amount of people, this amount of money. Oh, numbers. All right, you get the initial impression, because if you tell someone, hey, where did you go, the last 4 days, I didn't see you in the neighborhood. Oh no, I just went to this Apex event. Oh, what's Apex? It's a gaming event, almost 1,000 entrants, thousands and thousands of dollars in prizes. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. What is it about? And then you get the hookup. But if you tell them I went to a gaming tournament, oh, that's weird. you need sadly, the way most things work is that you need to give out the numbers initially.
Yeah.
You need to give out the numbers, and from there he started like saying that. From there, if the conversation keeps going and going, I can tell them that it's a way to how I express myself, and I think that's really important because Mango also said the same thing. The game is definitely a way to express yourself. Same way he said with his tattoos, it's a way to express yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Dr. PP said that Smash is a way of art, and I think it's just like film in general. You express yourself in a lot of ways, and then you basically put it on the screen. Although I don't understand how filmmakers make the things they do, because when I watch a film, I'm just like, this is so amazing. Like, I just don't understand how you guys, because I'm pretty sure you guys edit so hardcore. I'm pretty sure you guys sit down one day and you're just like, should I edit this 2 seconds or not? And then you're just like, oh man, because
it's a mysterious process. I mean, honestly, it's I understand it well only because on an instinctual level at this point, just because I've been doing it for so long. But it's weird. Like, you'll do things accidentally, and then you'll like be like, "Whoa, that was cool! How did that happen?" And the way I started thinking of it was like, you're like a wizard, like versus a barbarian or something, like, as a wizard's in the castle all the time, like in the tower, reading spells and stuff and doing things like that for a few moments of glory on the battlefield. And those moments of glory when you're finally done, but you spend all of this time up in this little room with little candlelight, writing down these spells and stuff and reciting them and figuring them out. So that's kind of the way I thought of it when I was younger, and maybe I still do think about it that way.
That's awesome, because you say it in such a way that it's like, I've been doing it for so long, but it's just an instinct, I kind of learned how to do it in some ways. Not learning because there's a way to do it, but learning how to do it for myself.
Yeah.
In my way, because I think that's the way most things should be. You don't learn how to do things because someone else does, but you learn from them how you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. You put your own voice into it. I mean, you can learn how to. It's the same with Smash Brothers. You learn how to play from like awesome guys like Mango and PP, like how to play Falco, and but you're still, your Falco's gonna be a little bit different, no matter if you're kind of internalizing how they play. It'll come out, how you play. It'll be translated into your style.
Definitely. Now, I just got a message from wife over Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. So we have a high chance of having wife over the show later on. So that's pretty awesome.
Awesome.
That's pretty awesome. I'm so glad I managed to message so many people, and everyone is so willing to cooperate with this. Like, I because I was expecting people to just be like, no, I don't want to help with this, but because I was like, maybe today, people are gonna be busy and stuff like that. But people have been like, man, today I'm pretty busy, but yo, I want to dedicate time to this. Like, Dr. PB had like 2 hours of free time today. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna dedicate that time to this. I was like, wow, man, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that, because like the issue with doing these kind of things is that you might get on on the wrong time. Like you approach people and they're like, oh, you know what? I actually can't do it right now, and then it's like, oh damn it. But no, like people have been like going around things they that matter to them just to do this. So I really appreciate that to everyone. Means a lot.
That's awesome.
Also, we got another donation.
Sweet. What was the donation? $2? I think I saw one.
Yes. it was exactly $2. Hey man, every dollar matters.
Every dollar counts, man. Shout out to people who are willing to throw down like a couple bucks. Even it's like it ends up in the total. So
I've always said that if you can't donate, you can always spread out the word. Whether it's a stream, whether it's the link, it doesn't matter if you can't donate. If you show that you care, you might get the word to other people that may be able to donate. And even then, if you make enough noise, someone is bound to be like, "Yo, I'll step it up."
Yeah, for sure, absolutely, and that's the nice thing about doing this, especially with the Smash community, which there's pretty tight knit as communities go, and willing to go the extra mile for each other. So it makes me happy.
I always call the Smash community a big family, to be honest. Like, it's that one big family that will always get you. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been housed in like different places, like. Just like my, like, so many people are just like, you know what, I'll do this for you. I don't know why, but I'll just do it.
Yeah, it's because maybe it's something about the game or the people, or I don't know, the people that choose to play the game. It's just it's nice. It's a good feeling. So
I know, it's like, I don't know. I don't really see this happening in other communities. Like I don't. Yeah. I haven't really seen this bond between players in other communities. Not really calling them out anyway, but I'm just like, I don't know. It just feels like we're all brothers and sisters in some way. I don't know. It's just hard to explain.
Yeah. Well, it's maybe someday it'll be larger. And a certain degree, I in the same way that I kind of connect with Smashers, I'll connect with gamers in general, like people that are aware of games or like it's almost like speaking another language in a certain way, which is why you see certain like gaming memes and stuff spread around. So in that sense, it's like that's like the larger extended family. You get the smaller, close knit Smash family, and then the larger one in the gaming world. So which is also where the shout outs to people like Artosis and stuff that were big on the tweeting out about the Smash Brothers documentary. They StarCraft and like League and stuff. These people that are also down for anything that's like kind of reminds them of playing games when they were younger and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Another impressive thing from Smash that I had to mention is the fact that how many people actually know about the game. There's so many people that know about the game, but in some way or the other, they don't actually participate, but they know about it. It really gets me, like, to be like, wow. Because I remember one day I was talking to Justin Wong in person at one of these many events that we had the chance to meet up, and I was like, do you consider Smash like a fighting game or something? I ask people complicated questions always. I like doing that. I like doing that because people will usually ask you like, the things everyone will ask you, that gets like, I don't know, that gets nowhere. That's my point of view. So I was like, he gave me like a lot of answers that he respected Smash Bros. Community. He's been keeping up with them. He told me so many stories of how he actually entered a lot of tournaments at different points. He told me how he entered a national tournament in Brawl back in like the Mega Day, and he won too. I was like, oh my god. It's like, oh my god. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, Justin Wong. He actually entered 64 at Apex 2014 this year.
I saw that. I saw him getting bopped.
That's fine. Hey, we need to bop him. The reason we need to bop him is because we're a Smash community. If I entered one of their tournaments, like say I entered one of their Street Fighter 2 tournaments, and then I did well, I would have been like, guys, what's up here? What's up? What happened here? So we had to bop him to show him real quick. Like, Justin, we appreciate your entry fee, but the fact of the matter is, we have to bop you to show our pride.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll love you. We'll hug you with open arms. But you got to know you're still a scrub in this game. So
same way they will receive us in Marvel and Street Fighter, though.
Oh man, I saw him his run at Evo last year was amazing. I was like jumping up and down on my bed watching him. It was so cool. Did you see that?
Yes. I almost made it happen. Almost made it happen.
Almost made it happen. So close. Coming all the way back. This is amazing.
reminds me of my comeback in losers on the Brawl bracket at this Apex. Just I fell in losers like on the top 8 or so, and then I took out ADHD, ESAM, Mewtwokin, and
Wow.
yeah, it took out all those people in a row, and then I lost in grand final. I still was like, oh, god damn it. I was like, god damn it, dude. That was just literally my thought. I was like, god damn it.
Your kindred spirits with Justin Wall.
I got Justin Wall. That's how I felt. Because many times Justin manages to come back from the very bottoms of depths of hell, but then in the very last second, he falls down on the stairs. Like, god damn it.
Well, it was great too because of the way that he came back. You know, like against Chris G, it was like he was on the ropes, and then he like pulls it. It was like the last. It was like being at like your last stock. And coming back from being 4-stocked, it was amazing. Just seeing him kind of come back and seeing him get hype. You know, when he was like jumping up and down. And, you know, that's the kind of stuff that's just like amazing. You know, like seeing and that kind of like mirrored what happened with Mango too, like coming all the way back through losers and fighting Armada and Hungry Box and going all the way up against Wobbles. It was awesome. That whole time, Apex or Evo was just such a exciting thing. So. I was happy I got to watch that.
I was happy that at that Evo I got to watch Melee though.
Yeah, dude.
I was really happy. I was really happy.
No, thanks Nintendo for letting that happen.
I mean, you made it happen too. You were directly a part of making that happen.
I mean, I don't know how much because the series only came out months after that. So
no, you were directly a part of it because you were hyping up. Even though the Smash Bros. Community was not out at that point, you were still hyping up the scene with what you were doing.
Yeah, I don't know how much credit I can take, but I'd like to think that maybe it was a little bit, part of it. I think Prague and a lot of the community leaders deserve a lot of credit for, going through what they did and trying really hard to keep it happening. Prague was just like. At Evo, seeing him on stream, like he was hyped out to the nth degree. You could tell that he had been like, he was a warrior that had seen so much in those last, those days. They're like rounding up CRTs and stuff. So, props to that guy.
Prague is awesome. I don't know how he manages to be everywhere. He's always at the right time and the right spot. I don't know how he does it, but he does it.
Yeah, it's totally true. He's the omnipresent personality in this scene.
He's just always at the right time at the right place, and I definitely admire him in a lot of ways. He's a great guy. Yeah,
he helped out actually at ROM 4. Him and I think D1, maybe was Kitaro there? Maybe not. I'm pretty sure it was Prague and D1 running around helping me get get people's signatures and stuff and emails to get to organize interviews and stuff at ROM 4. Like I'm not the most willingly outgoing guy, and especially with documentary stuff where you're like, hey, can you get on camera and stuff. It was tougher for me in the beginning, so having them running around and knowing the people and getting everyone's information together was awesome of them. So right off the bat they were just like, dude, I love these guys.
There's a lot of awesome people in the Smash community. A lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of awesome people. It definitely I feel that the game, well, my mom always told me that a great way to see if an activity is good for you or not is to see if it brings out the best from you.
True.
And I believe that Smash does that for a lot of people. I think.
Yeah. I like that. That's a very mom thing to say, and a very wise piece of advice.
My mom has told me a lot of things over the time. I remember one time. Here's some Smash trivia right here. Zero's mom. I was struggling with one matchup in Brawl, and I just couldn't get my head around Diddy Kong. And I remember my mom was like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I just can't win this matchup. I just keep losing. I don't know what to do. I really baffles me." And she's like, "So Diddy Kong is that character with the bananas, right? And he throws peanuts." I'm like, "Yes." So she's like, "Well, he's a monkey, so you have to be just as wild as him, to beat him. You have to get dirty and just get in there." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, I know how you are. You probably don't get in the dirt with the monkey. That's how you lose. You know, you're outside the mud. You know, you're being that girly person. You know, you don't get in there. That's why you lose. And she hasn't even watched my matches, and she's just saying that because she knows me. And you know what I did? I started getting in the dirt with the monkey, and ever since then I started winning.
That's so great. I love that.
I don't even understand how she manages to give me tips in Smash, even though she doesn't even play the game. She also has the ability to pick the best character in every single damn game we play. So we're playing 64, right? And she's like, I'm gonna play Pikachu. We're playing Melee. I'm gonna play Sheik and Fox. Let's play Brawl. I'm gonna play Meta Knight. Like, what the? Like, she just manages to pick the best character every time for no reason at all.
She actually, this is the thing. She's like actually, you know, real sneaky, and she probably like reads all the blogs and actually plays and stuff, and you know, literally, you know, she's like OP in all these Smash games. She's just keeping it on the DL.
Well, she actually does watch the streams and tournaments and read articles and stuff like that. She knows English too. But the thing is that this is back in the day when we didn't really have internet in the house. You know, this is like back in the old days. You know, like,
so funny.
I don't know. She just had this ability. It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird, honestly.
That mom foo. She knows.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. That's so great. That's such a mom thing. You got to get in the dirt with the monkey and just make it happen. That's perfect.
It really is perfect. A lot of things that moms do are awesome. That's why I mentioned, you know, about interviewing moms in general.
Yeah. No, well, yeah. That was, you know, prompts to M2K's mom. She was willing to sit down and talk with me, and you know, about M2K and you know, him growing up stuff. I'll release that interview maybe in the future. Maybe that'll be part of this one. Actually, that was a good interview that she gave. So.
You heard it here on Zero Stream first.
Yeah, I don't even know if MTK remembers that. It was a pickup interview. I was like, all right, do you want to get on camera? And I was like trying to convince her to do it. She relented. And she had you know, had some knowledge of the scene and stuff too, because she used to take M2K to these things, and she knew about PC and PC's hair and milk tea and stuff like that. So she knew a lot about the scene in the community. So yeah, she's a good resource for that.
That's awesome. So this is gonna be my last question before we wrap up this interview.
Okay.
So how much now I was gonna ask you how much time you put into this amount of things, but that's a boring question. Let's make an interesting question. What's the craziest thing that happened to you while doing this constant traveling and things related to the Smash Bros. Documentary?
Oh, that's easy. I think the craziest thing that happened to me during this whole thing was getting mugged, or attempted mugging. I guess it was. He ended up with $30, so that's a successful mugging. Going to Apex 2012. So do you know that story, right?
I do believe I remember it, but I don't want to interrupt you.
No, yeah. Well, it was one of these things where you know, I was going on my own to Apex 2012, and I had 3 big bags, or one ginormous bag, which is a 120-liter bag filled with, like, you know, lights and cameras, or lights and stands and stuff like that. And I had a smaller duffel bag with some clothes and light and other equipment. And then my camera bag, which was the smallest, had the camera, the audio equipment, which was this thing right here, H4N. Not inexpensive things, and things that were not insured at the time. So I went to the train station at Back Bay, Boston, 5 a.m. And there's apparently a big homeless presence there. And this one guy wanted to get money from me, and I didn't have anything to give him. I offered him a cigarette, and he's like, no. So he ended up grabbing my bag, the bag with the camera and the audio equipment, the smallest one, easiest one to grab and run with. And he said that he had a gun. And he started backing away slowly with it. And at that moment, I had to kind of decide, you know, what was I going to do? Was I going to let him just kind of go, or what? And something about the way he said that he had a gun just did not sound likely to me. So as soon as he turned his back, I speared him against the wall, and I was able to, you know, hit him a few times and get the bag away from him. And I let him up, thinking that I had won, and then he came at me with a needle, and he said that he had AIDS, and he was like jabbing it at me like this.
What?
Yeah.
What? That's so crazy.
This guy's nuts. So I didn't want to get AIDS, so I let him take the bag again. But I also at that point I was like, fuck, I can't let him just like get away with the bag. So, because like I mean the whole reason I'm taking this 3-day trip, taking him off work, all this stuff was to do this. So that was like the whole series, walking away right there. So I was like, fuck this guy. I ran after him down the tracks, and eventually I was like, okay, I can't wrestle this guy. He's probably got AIDS and he's got a needle. So I'm gonna, but he's not, he wants money for food or for something, for alcohol. So I was like, okay, dude, just give me the camera. I need that stuff. I'll give you $20. And he bartered me. He was like, yo, give me 40, and I ended up giving him like 30. And then he ran off. I ran upstairs, called the cops. They came. I jumped on my train. I had like 5 minutes to spare. Jumped on the train and went off to Apex and had an awesome weekend. So that was probably the craziest thing that's happened to me. Maybe like not even just outside of Smash and stuff. That was just insane. And then they ended up picking him up. Awesome. Shout outs to the MBTA police. There's one detective, Andrea Purcell, I believe her name was. Awesome cutie, by the way. Also, if there's no way she's watching this, but if she is, you're pretty as well. She like happened to hear during an arrest of some guy who was like drunk and exposed in public that he had AIDS, and she was like, huh, I remember this case. So she pulled the files and did a lineup with me, and I was like, yeah, that's the guy. We ended up going to trial. He took it to a jury trial, and now he's doing 2.5 years in jail, which I guess is now a year done. So good came of it. He ended up behind bars, and I ended up not with AIDS. He did have AIDS, so he wasn't.
Oh my god! I'm so afraid just by listening to that, because it's honestly like really scary that someone is not throwing you with a gun or a knife. He's like, I have AIDS. You want to fuck around with this?
Yeah.
No.
That is not something you want to fuck around with. Absolutely.
Oh my god, that's definitely the crazy. That's so crazy, man. I'm so happy that you were so manly over that situation, and you didn't get hurt in any single way.
Yeah, that was another one of those lucky things. Like if I had been a little more aggressive and stayed on top of him and not let him up, because that was the other thing. Is like if he had actually been telling the truth to the gun, it would have been very stupid of me to let him up. But so if I had like fought him a little more, there could have been blood exchanged, and I could have gotten it that way. So. So lucky on a lot of fronts with this project. I wouldn't recommend it to most people doing what I did, making that call. But again, it's like one of those in the moment calls where you're like, fuck this guy, or yeah, you know what, I'm gonna let him take that. So
I'm happy to hear that it ended up well.
Yeah, me too. So here's to hoping that doesn't happen again with this next project.
Hopefully it doesn't. Only thing I know is that because I offer you, to help you out with this. That if that happens, if you need my help in any way, I'll come to you. So I will have to fight with the AIDS guy. I'm Boston. So that's one thing you can rest assure on.
I'm glad you got my back there.
Yeah, I got your back. Don't worry about it. I'll bring my Chilean spirit. He won't have anything on me, man.
Nice. That's awesome.
Alright, Samox. Before we wrap up this interview, do you have anything you would like to say to the viewers or to me?
To you, I say thank you a million for doing this. This is awesome. I'll tweet it out again. The fact that you're out here making this happen, it just makes me very happy to see all the responses in the community. It's not easy to raise $26,000 to do anything, and the fact that we're already almost halfway through with just a couple days in, I am blown away. So thanks to you, thanks to the people in the stream that are watching, and good luck with the rest of this 24-hour thing, man. This is absolutely heroic on your part.
I have a couple Red Bulls, 8 Bulls, energy bars, and I'm pretty crazy myself, so I'll survive this. I'm pretty sure. And even though it sounds very heroic, I'm pretty sure you surviving the AIDS guy is much heroicer than that. It's okay.
Well,
hey, man.
One way or another, we'll both get out of this without AIDS.
Alright, cool. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, hopefully. Who knows? Maybe some guy from the window will just bust out of the window and just be like, I have AIDS, man. Give me the stream requirement. Why? Why you need it? Take the money. Like, I have 20 bucks in my pocket. I actually do. I actually do have like 20 bucks in my pocket.
Good, good.
Alright, man. I greatly appreciate everything you've done for the community so far and what you're going to do too. So I hope you have a great night for what's left.
Thanks, man. Thanks, and good luck with the rest of this. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Alright, man. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye.